The beggar who became a merchant. At a busy city railway station, there lived a beggar. Each day he earned just enough to survive by asking passengers on passing trains for spare change. One afternoon, while moving through a train compartment, he noticed a tall man wearing a fine suit and polished shoes. The beggar thought, "This man looks wealthy. If I ask him, he'll probably give me more than others." With that hope, he walked up to the man and asked for money. The man looked at him calmly and said, "Do you always ask people for help? Or have you ever given anything to someone else?" The beggar answered honestly, "Sir, I'm a beggar. Asking is all I do. I don't have the position or ability to give anything to others." The man replied, "If you have nothing to give, then you have no right to ask. I am a businessman, and I believe in exchange. I only give when something is offered in return." After saying this, the man boarded the train and left. The beggar stood there lost in thought. Those words stayed with him and slowly settled in his heart. He wondered, maybe this is why I never receive much money, because I give nothing in return. But I'm a beggar. What could I possibly give? Even so, he questioned himself, how long will I keep taking from people without giving anything back? After thinking deeply, he made a decision. From now on, whenever someone gives me money, I will give something in return. But one question remained unanswered. What can a beggar possibly give? For 2 days, he searched for an answer, but found none. On the third day, as he sat near the station, he noticed flowers blooming on nearby plants. That's when an idea struck him. Why not give flowers in return, he thought. The idea felt right. He picked a few flowers and stepped back onto the train. Now, whenever someone gave him money, he offered them flowers in return. People accepted the flowers gladly, many of them smiling as they took them. Each day, he collected fresh flowers and exchanged them for money. Within days, he noticed something unexpected. More people than ever were giving him money. As long as he had flowers, people were generous. When the flowers ran out, the money stopped coming. Day after day, this pattern continued. One afternoon, while walking through the train, he saw the same tall businessman again, the very man whose words had changed his thinking. The beggar walked up to him and said, "Today I have flowers to give you. If you give me some money, I'll give you flowers in return." The businessman smiled, handed him some money, and accepted the flowers. He said, "Well done. Today you've become a businessman just like me." Then he stepped off the train. Once again, those words struck the beggar deeply. His face lit up with excitement. He felt as if he had discovered the secret to success, the secret that could change his entire life. Suddenly, he got off the train, looked up at the sky, and shouted, "I am not a beggar, I am a businessman, and I can become rich." People nearby thought he had lost his mind. From that very next day, the beggar was never seen at that station again. 6 months later, half a year later, at the same railway station, 2 well-dressed men were traveling on a train. They noticed each other, and one extended his hand and asked, "Do you remember me?" The other man shook his head. "No, I don't think we've met before." The first man smiled and said, "Think again. This is our 3rd meeting." The second man looked confused. "I don't remember. When did we meet before?" The first man replied with a smile, "We met twice on this very train. I was the beggar you spoke to the first time, when you told me what I should do with my life. The second time, you told me who I really was." The businessman's eyes widened, then he smiled. "Oh, now I remember. You're the beggar I once refused to give money to and later bought flowers from. But today, you're wearing a suit. Where are you heading? And what do you do now?" The man answered confidently, "Yes, that beggar was me. Today, I'm a successful flower merchant, traveling to another city for business." After a brief pause, he continued, "In our first meeting, you taught me a natural rule, that we receive only when we give something first. I've personally experienced that this rule truly works. For a long time, I believed I was only a beggar. I couldn't imagine anything beyond that. When we met again, you told me I'd become a businessman. That's when I finally understood. I was no longer asking for charity. People weren't giving me alms. They were paying for my flowers. They bought them because they were affordable and meaningful. To others, I was just a small seller. But in my own mind, I still saw myself as a beggar. Your words helped me change that. With the money I earned by selling flowers on trains, I bought more flowers, then expanded further, and slowly built my business. People here love flowers, and that love turned me into a successful merchant. Both men smiled, stepped off the train together, and walked on, discussing their businesses. The lesson. This story carries a powerful message. The businessman understood the principle of give and take. Every successful entrepreneur follows this rule, whether they realize it or not. When this principle was shared with the beggar, and he accepted it, his life transformed. By changing how he thought, he changed the direction of his life. The story reminds us that everything begins with mindset. If we continue to see ourselves as small, we will remain small. To grow, we must first think bigger about who we are.